St. Lucia. This is Openmike, and we are back with the fourth and final segment of our program. When we left off, we were discussing the excess amount of seaweed arriving on our shores, not only in St. Lucia, but throughout the region. And although that seaweed can in fact be used as a form of fertilizer, it has been a bit of a nuisance because for me in particular, I go to the south once a week, and when I pass through from the Monrepo area right down to almost getting to Beaufort, especially in the Mamiku area, the odor is awful, and it's been like that for the last 4 months. So I decided to take a drive in on the beach there, and the amount of stuff that I saw and the gas coming from it, something should really be done about it, because I asked Mr. Walters, and he felt that came under the jurisdiction of the village council. And I think maybe government should talk to the people in the village, and maybe again with the help of the private sector, we can probably get a backhoe and a couple trucks to take that stuff away and find an area, dig a large hole, bury the stuff, because it can be used as seaweed. But right now, it's a hazard to the people living in the area. And I really hope that someone is listening and they can take the necessary action to help those people down there. Because I just passed through driving my car. I have to put up the windows, and it's really, really bad. But I want to ask Mr. Walters a bit more about this seaweed, because it has in fact increased over the years. And I heard what you said concerning climate change. So what are we to expect? As the climate change kicks in, more and more seaweed will be coming?
Well, we never know. I expect we're going to get more of this in time. But like I say, it's something that I think is localized in the various communities, and possibly the town and village councils should prepare for such an eventuality on an annual basis.
Yeah, because
to clear the beaches and to
it's
pull
mainly
it out.
on the St. Lucia. It's mainly on the east coast. It's happening. I mean, Antigua is pretty bad. I was in Barbados 3 weeks ago. And on the East Coast, I went to a friend's home, which was normally very, very clean, and I was shocked to see the amount of seaweed that came in within 3 hours, you know? Yeah. So it's unbelievable what is going on. Yeah. And I don't know what can be done, but just a quick question. Take, for instance, the Pralin Beach, for instance. If we put some kind of a net and then put it, or is it better to let it come in and then take it out?
I think it's better to let it come in and take it out. Yeah, remove it as it comes in.
Because one of the fishermen were actually saying that it's so bad down there, he couldn't even run his outboard motor.
Well, it clogs up the propeller.
Yeah.
So it's fairly thick.
Yes.
So you need to get rid of it, or else it'd be difficult to use your engine.
Yeah.
You might have problems with fouling. So I think it's something that needs to be addressed on a localized basis.
Yeah.
Because every community on the East Coast had the problem.
Now, before we end our program, I want to get back to the question of the fishing complexes. To date, we have, I think, 7 fishing complexes in St. Lucia in total. We have 1 in Grosselet, 1 in Castries, 1 in Ancillary, 1 in Suffre, 1 in Choiseul, 1 in Beaufort, and 1 in Dennery. You know, St. Lucia is only 230 square miles. And one would have thought that if we had a centralized facility in Beaufort, and when the fishermen come, it only takes maybe 15, 20 minutes to get to Beaufort. Is it really necessary to have complexes, or to just have proper docks and and take care of the complex that we have, or the complexes cannot handle all the fish from, you see, can Beaufort, for instance, handle the fish being caught in Dennery and Beaufort?
Well, if you look back at what we did, and when I say we, when I
Were there?
I worked in government, the planning was such that we provided cold storage capacity in Castries, which is the major marketing hub.
Without cutting you short, it's a long time. Just to give St. Lucia an idea, how many cubic feet of storage have you got? Why you don't remember offhand?
No, in Vieux-Fort we established 400 tons of cold storage space.
Wow, that's a lot. And has it ever been filled?
You wouldn't believe, but it has been.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, actually, when we built the Castries Fisheries Complex, we were looking for 250 tons of space. And that was with the assistance of the Canadian government, CEDA.
Does that still exist, the 250 tons space?
It was cut down by half.
Why?
So we did get 125 tons.
Why was it cut down?
Because they did not believe the statistics we were collecting.
Okay,
Actually, we collected...
And the 125 tons can be filled?
We filled it in 3 months.
Wow.
I mean, when we were building the facility, and this is going back to 1977, I started collecting, the fisheries department started collecting fish landing data. So we would know how much fish was being landed to determine the capacity of our cold storage.
And that was just from the Castries fishermen, eh?
And when they cut it in half, the facility was filled by April of the following year.
Yeah.
And then
what's the situation now?
Well, I think they still have that capacity. I think so. But when we were building facilities, we recognized that there was no need for cold storage capacity, holding capacity in Dennery, but we'd put it in Vieux-Fort, because Vieux-Fort is the major landing.
Yes.
Dennery catches a lot of fish, but there was no need to establish more cold storage in that volume.
So you have no cold storage in Dennery?
A small amount.
A small amount.
Just for overnight.
Well, that makes sense.
So, because Vieux-Fort is only 20 minutes away from Dennery.
That's right, yeah.
So Castries and Vieux-Fort were the major holding facilities.
Areas. So from what you tell me there, Horace, it seems as though that the Castries facility should be increased. From what you tell me.
Not really, because again, Castries does not land that amount of fish.
I see.
You needed it then because there was no facility anywhere else.
Okay, but now
everything from Vieux-Fort came to Castries.
Shared,
but since we built that major facility in Vieux-Fort, and Dennery and Micoud can go down to Vieux-Fort or come to Castries. Vieux-Fort is the major
Now tell me
holding.
something, talking about Castries, okay? I feel that the fishing complex in Sanssouci is too small, and to me it's not well placed anymore, because the town is growing. They talk of banana. There's talk afoot that close to the Hess project they would like to build a proper fisheries and have it down there where the people can put it. Because right now in Banan, it's very, very unsightly what's going on. What would your advice be?
Well, again, Banan has always been a sore point, but you can't move people from their locality.
Okay.
It's very difficult. You'd have a white elephant if you built anything in the area of the Hess site.
Is that right?
Yeah, it'd be a waste of time. Hess, as far as I'm concerned, is for another major port for
So where would you, if you had
shipping.
to choose somewhere in the Castries harbor?
There's nowhere else. Again, like I say, the Castries fishing community is used to the Conway, Sanssouci, Johnson area. So you have that facility there. It's a matter of ensuring that it's properly kept, that the facilities are sightly. And right now we're trying to find, our cooperative in Castries is trying to find a source of funding to fix the locker rooms, because the locker rooms are needed to...
I saw that.
The locker rooms, we need to pave the yard, we need to put a small market within the complex, fisheries complex area, so you don't have people selling fish on the highway and causing a traffic hazard.
Now tell me something, Horace. If that was done properly, would they still need Banan?
Well, Banan again has a large number of vessels. But again, Banan belongs to the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority. And we don't know what they're planning to do with that in time.
It's so spread out. If they took a particular area and enhanced it for the guys, that could work.
Well, we tried going to Tapion, and they never moved. They never relocated. So the facilities at Tapion were of no use to us.
Yeah,
We
but
did
wait a
that
while.
many years ago.
When you say Tapio, what? To move the whole thing to Tapio?
Well, if you go down to Tapio, using the old road before,
Yes.
you'll see there are structures there that
And what
were
happened?
established.
The fishermen wouldn't go?
No, the fishermen wouldn't move from Banan.
Such a short
They wouldn't
distance.
move. I mean, it's part of the culture.
But still, we have to look at the
culture.
development of Castries.
Yeah, well, you have to look at the
Because
development of
remember,
the port because
they
I know.
sell their fish to the hotels.
Yeah.
You need to increase your tourism because when you're coming into Castries Harbour, Horace, it's really horrible.
Yeah.
When you look on the left and you see, first of all, the Management's Quarters building left unattended. On the left-hand side, close to where the Coast Guard is there, it's really unsightly.
Yeah.
You have sand and things just stored there, chock-a-block, a couple of old boats seized by the Coast Guard, and on the right you have down by that bay, what we call our Salopway, I mean, really and truly, that should be filled in so the garbage could go out, you know what I mean? I mean, really, something should be done.
We don't know what the port authority intends to do.
Well, I understand that, although I have spoke about it on many occasions, but I think it is in the cards to sheet pile from where the banana boats were right down to have that as a facility, because the road is collapsing as you have seen, and something has to be done about it.
Yeah. Well, the port will deal with it as and when they decide.
Now, on a final note, we also have a serious problem with the amount of silt coming down from Castries Harbour. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Yeah. Because every 3 years, SLASPA has to silt the harbour.
Yeah.
And you're talking of 10 to 15 feet of silt from the harbour. I advocated that they should get a cherry picker and dig a silt trap at the mouth of the river, and where all the stuff will go. And actually you can use that stuff for gardening or whatever the case may be. But somebody said to me, the fact that it is contaminated with salt, it may not be the best, but they can find something else to do because it's expensive for us, Yeah. But Horace, I think we have come to the end of our program. I want to thank you so much for being here today. You have educated me quite a bit, and I want to thank you for that. And that's what I enjoy about the shows that I do. At all my guests, I seem to learn more and more about certain areas and certain industries, which is wonderful. And so people in St. Lucia are also learning something about it. So I want to thank you so much for being here, and hope I have the pleasure of meeting you again.
Thank you very much for coming.